Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Ash, aka Ghostbuster, and today I'm taking a look at Square Enix's newest game, the DioField Chronicle. Now, Square Enix were kind enough to send me a copy of this game to have a play with, to get to grips with, so I can sort of give you my impressions of it. So big thank you to them for that. Now, this is a sort of Japanese RPG, like a tactical RPG game, in the sort of same vein as the Final Fantasy Tactics kind of series, but it has a different sort of setting and a plot that sort of reminds me so far of sort of like a mix of sort of Game of Thrones in that aspect. Now, I haven't finished the game yet. This is just my first impressions. I'm a few hours into the game, and this is a real-time tactical battle style game where you move around the areas in real time doing the combat. So it's not like the turn-based of sort of old Final Fantasy. You have a sort of semi-top-down sort of above the character's view, and you move around these realistic diorama-style battle scenes that look nice, and then you sort of zoom out a bit and they start to look like board game pieces and stuff like that, which I thought was quite nice. They end up with like bases on, and it loses a bit of detail, and they look more like pawns and like pieces from a board game, basically. Now, the gameplay itself is quite fun. I like the style of it. I like how it's all about using all your different characters' strengths and weaknesses, being able to sort of move your characters behind your enemies to sort of ambush them to do more damage. All your characters have special abilities, and as you play you end up getting more characters into your party, and all of your characters level up, gain new skills, equipment, all that sort of stuff. Now, the story itself is a bit meh. It's not a bad story, it's just largely forgettable, and while I commend it for having English voice acting, and they do sound quite English in places, the voices don't seem to match the characters to me and the setting. They just don't seem like that's what those characters would sound like. But that's just me. Maybe you guys will enjoy it more than me. But I do like that I don't have to read the subtitles. I can just listen to what they're saying, which is always good. Now, one thing that's strange about this game, it just sort of dropped. I've not seen hardly any sort of announcement it was coming. I think there was like one trailer in a state of play, and since it's come out there's not been a lot of fanfare for it. There's not been a lot of marketing, which is a shame, because like I say, this is like a new unique setting that's been created. It does have some intrigue to it. I am interested in the sort of plot and how it's going. Yes, it's slightly generic about the bad guys trying to take over and stuff like that, and people trying to sort of prove their worth and all that sort of stuff. But I just feel like this is a Square Enix game, and it should be more out there, and I'm surprised it isn't. Not enough people are talking about this game. Now, the music is really great in this game as well. As always with most Square Enix games, it has a fantastic soundtrack. Gameplay-wise, like I say, I am currently enjoying it. I love the abilities. I love the sort of real-time aspect to it, where like what I can set people fighting. You can sort of like slow down time as you're picking sort of movements and attacks and stuff. It's not like always on. It does sort of slow down at times to give you a bit of sort of time to think. And I do like that you have like objectives to do in these little mini missions, like you have to take over like strongholds and stuff like that to progress. And one thing I do love is you get like the Final Fantasy-esque summons as well. So you get these like giant dragons come and just absolutely decimate your enemies, and they look fantastic, just like they do in Final Fantasy games. Now, this isn't one of those games you can like charge head on into. You can't just keep running at your opponents all the time, or you will get killed. But like lining them up correctly, sending them in the right time, like you're more sort of characters who can take more damage, run them in to sort of pull your enemies in and take their sort of interest away from your other characters. You've got your range characters at the back firing in, and then you can sort of sneak around with your more sort of stealthy characters to jump in and get the ambush to do the extra damage. It's a really sort of fun tactical game. Now, there are also sort of bosses in this game as well, and they are pretty cool. Much more health than your sort of standard enemies. You've got to sort of knock your way through their health bars. And when you're not in the game, you're in this little hub world where you've obviously got your shops and stuff like that, and you can interact with characters, picking up missions, and sort of interacting with like the quest board, basically. Now, I'm not sure how long this game is, but looking online, it is much shorter than like a Final Fantasy sort of classic JRPG, so you're not going to spend hours and hours and hours playing it. You're still going to get a fair bit of time on it, and like I say, for me, I quite like the fast-paced aspect of it over the slow, plodding, turn-based sort of combat. However, you may be let down by the sort of stiff character dialogue and the animation, and at times, while the graphics are good in some aspects, at other times they look a bit naff. Is probably the best way to put it. Like when you're zoomed out of some things, some areas look a bit rough or low quality compared to others, but then when you're in other places it looks fantastic and some of the characters look amazing. The character art is also really good as well, so that's up there with all the great sort of Final Fantasy sort of character art you get. They've done a great job there. And like I say, once I finish playing the game, I'll probably do a full review of it as well. But right now, like I say, a few hours in, I'm really enjoying it. It's a nice sort of breath of fresh air for me. I don't play these sort of tactic games that often. But I am really enjoying this, and I do like that it is a sort of brand new IP in its own special world, basically. And I'm looking forward to finding out more about it and the sort of lore and everything about that world. But that's that for this video, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. Like I say, let me know in the comments if you've played this game, or is it on your list to play? And if you have played it, are you enjoying it? What do you think of the story and the characters? I'd love to know, like I say. I can understand the complaints I'm reading online, and it is a shame that Square aren't pushing this anymore. Like I said, I'd love to see it getting a bit more love. It just feels like because it's not Final Fantasy or something like that, they're just not giving it any love or attention. But it was released onto the Xbox on the 22nd of September 2022. It's priced at $49.99 in the UK. And that also includes a early purchase bonus as well. So if you do buy it until December the 31st, 2022, you get a special accessory and a weapon, which you cannot be obtained while progressing through the game, but you do get them early on if you get this content pack, basically. The game is playable on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S, and it's optimised for Xbox Series X and S, and according to the Xbox Store, it supports 4K resolution, VRR, ray tracing, 60 FPS, and obviously it supports smart delivery as well. So you buy it on one console, you get it for both. So let me know. Like I say, it's a very unique game, but I can definitely tell it's not going to be for everyone. So let me know in the comments what you think. Other than that, we'll see you soon for more content, guys. Bye for now.